In international relations, aid is, from the perspective of governments, a voluntary transfer of resources from one country to another. Aid may serve one or more functions. It may be given as a signal of diplomatic approval, or to strengthen a military ally, to reward a government for behavior desired by the donor, to extend the donor's cultural influence, to provide infrastructure needed by the donor for resource extraction from the recipient country, or to gain other kinds of commercial access. Countries may provide aid for further diplomatic reasons. Humanitarian and altruistic purposes are often reasons for foreign assistance. Aid may be given by individuals, private organizations, or governments. Standards delimiting exactly the types of transfers considered aid vary from country to country. For example, the United States government discontinued the reporting of military aid as part of its foreign aid figures in 1958. The most widely used measure of aid is official development assistance. The Development Assistance Committee of the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development defines its aid measure, official development assistance. The notion that foreign aid increases economic performance and generates economic growth is based on Chenery and Strout's dual gap model. Carol Lancaster defines foreign aid as a voluntary transfer of public resources from a government to another independent government, to an NGO, or to an international organization with at least a 25% grant element, one goal of which is to better the human condition in the country receiving the aid. Lancaster also states that for much of the period of her study, foreign aid was used for four main purposes: diplomatic, developmental, humanitarian relief and commercial. Most official development assistance comes from the 30 members of the Development Assistance Committee, or about $150 billion in 2018. For the same year, the OECD estimated that $6 to $7 billion of ODA-like aid was given by 10 other states, including China and India. Official development assistance contributed by the top 10 DAC countries is as follows. European Union countries together gave $70.73 billion and EU institutions gave a further $15.93 billion. The European Union accumulated a higher portion of GDP as a form of foreign aid than any other economic union. Official development assistance as a percentage of gross national income contributed by the top 10 DAC countries is as follows. 5 countries met the long-standing UN target for an ODA-GNI ratio of 0.7% in 2013. European Union countries that are members of the Development Assistance Committee gave 0.42% of GNI. The type of aid given may be classified according to various factors, including its intended purpose, the terms or conditions under which it is given, its source, and its level of urgency. Official aid may be classified by types according to its intended purpose. Military aid is material or logistical assistance given to strengthen the military capabilities of an ally country. Humanitarian aid is material or logistical assistance provided for humanitarian purposes, typically in response to humanitarian crises such as a natural disaster or a man-made disaster. Aid can also be classified according to the terms agreed upon by the donor and receiving countries. In this classification, aid can be a gift, a grant, a low or no interest loan, or a combination of these. The terms of foreign aid are oftentimes influenced by the motives of the giver. A sign of diplomatic approval, to reward a government for behavior desired by the donor, to extend the donor's cultural influence, to enhance infrastructure needed by the donor for the extraction of resources from the recipient country, or to gain other kinds of commercial access. Aid can also be classified according to its source. While government aid is generally called foreign aid, aid that originates in institutions of a religious nature is often termed faith-based foreign aid. Aid from various sources can reach recipients through bilateral or multilateral delivery systems. Bilateral refers to government transfers. Multilateral institutions, such as the World Bank or UNICEF, pool aid from one or more sources and disperse it among many recipients. International aid in the form of gifts by individuals or businesses are generally administered by charities or philanthropic organizations who batch them and then channel these to the recipient country. Aid may be also classified based on urgency into emergency aid and development aid. Emergency aid is rapid assistance given to a people in immediate distress by individuals, organizations, or governments to relieve suffering during and after man-made emergencies and natural disasters. The term often carries an international connotation, but this is not always the case. It is often distinguished from development aid by being focused on relieving suffering caused by